Today we are making old-fashioned beef stew. Welcome to my brick oven lifestyle. So the ingredients for the old-fashioned beef stew that I'm going to be using are 2 tablespoons of oil. This will go into the hot pan. 3 tablespoons of flour, half teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to use that to mix 1.5 pounds of stew meat in with to coat it with that flour mixture. A small onion, 4 stalks of celery, about 5 small carrots. This is 3.5 cups of beef broth, 2.5 cups of tomato juice, 2 teaspoons of garlic, minced. You can put it in whole if you want, but I like to mince it. And then 3 small bay leaves. The last vegetable I'm going to add are my potatoes. I do about 3.5 cups of potatoes. So to start, we want to get that Dutch oven pot really hot. So I got it up to about 350 degrees. That's what we're going to be cooking it at. And I'm going to take it out super hot and set it here for a second and put 2 tablespoons of oil in it. And I'm going to let that heat just a little bit longer, put it back in the oven while I start prepping for the beef stew. So the first thing I want to do while I'm getting my pot really nice and warm is I'm going to flour the meat. And to do that, I use the 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and I'm putting it in a bag. I often use a brown paper bag, but I have a lot of those. But I try really hard to reuse my bags. This one's reused from, I think, a loaf of bread. I don't like wasting them. This is a half teaspoon of the black pepper. It really doesn't take a whole lot to coat the meat. And then, actually, before I do that, I'm just going to shake it a little bit, mix it up. This helps brown the meat. It also helps keep, it kind of thickens the stew as it cooks by having this flour in there. And it makes the meat taste good by seasoning it like this. So I put it in here and just mix it up until I see that it's well coated on all sides. It's kind of like that shake and bake stuff you use where you're just trying to coat the chicken. We're just coating the little individual pieces of stew. And then all of a sudden they're just covered in white and they're ready to go. I'm going to set this aside and get out my big pot now, and we're going to start cooking all the ingredients together. I am going to be using a little 1 burner here again, because you can actually do this whole recipe in the brick oven, but it's hard for me to show you how to mix it all up when we're right at the brick oven. So I'm going to use this again. I'm going to keep it on a medium-high heat, and we'll cook it up, get it mixed, and then we'll put it back in the brick oven. So I'll get my pot out now. Okay. Should be nice and hot now. We're just going to put it right on the burner. Close the door to save my heat. And then on this burner, I'm doing medium-high, so I'm going to put it up pretty high. It goes up to 5 and then max. I'm going to go to 4, and then I'm going to probably turn it a little bit down to 3 if it starts getting a little bit too hot. So we're going to take our meat that we just coated and we're going to put it right in the pot. Oops, one more piece. There we go. You start to hear it sizzling. I'm just going to stir it around. And I want to keep the heat up pretty high because I want to get a golden brown color on it, kind of sear it. So take just a few minutes for that to get to that point. And then once it's seared, we're going to take it back out and set it aside, and we're going to cook all the other vegetables in here. I like to let it sit for a little bit and then stir it to make sure that it's not burning on the bottom. It's okay to have some stuff on the bottom of the pan. You're going to deglaze that after the meat comes out. It takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes to cook this if your pan's nice and hot. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the meat back out. It smells so good when it gets seared like this. It smells kind of like a steak. I use already made cut up stew meat sometimes at the local deli, meat deli, but a lot of times I wait for the nicer pieces to go on sale, like a top sirloin, and just cut it up myself because it's a little bit of a better cut of meat. So right away now I'm going to add in my onion before the pan starts getting a little too hot. I'm getting a little bit of celery in there too, but that's okay. And this is going to help start deglazing the pan. And all that flavor that's in that stuff that gets stuck on the bottom of the dish, you kind of want that. It's your flavor, your seasoning. Okay, and then I'm going to add in the beef broth next. 3½ cups. Boy, that pan is very hot. So far, no cuts, burns yet. I shouldn't say that, now it's going to happen. And then add the tomato juice. And that really kind of slows down the cooking process because it's cooling it down. So I'm going to turn it back up to actually full temperature. I want to get it to a point where it's going to boil. I'm going to add in the rest of my veggies, my celery and my carrots. I like to keep the pieces smaller. Some people put in larger pieces too, and that's fine. But I like to keep them uniform because then they cook better, more uniformly together. Next ingredient to add are my potatoes. I do about 3 large potatoes, or maybe 3½ cups of potatoes into this mixture. And again, I try to cut the pieces a little bit smaller to keep them uniform so they're going to cook evenly, get everything cooked about the same time. Mix that together a little bit. Then my garlic, you can use full pieces of garlic or mince them like I like to do. And I just put that right in with the mixture. Gives it a nice little bit of seasoning in there with the garlic. And then 3 small bay leaves. And these will be taken out, of course, after it's all cooked. They don't taste so good when you just bite into them when you're trying to eat this stew. Then the last thing is to add in the meat that we had cooked previously. Mix that all up. I've got my temperature up to max because I'm trying to get it to a boil. And once I get it to a boil, I'm going to put it into my 350-degree oven, brick oven, for around 50 minutes with the lid on. All right, we're getting real close to a boiling point. Let's see if we can see some bubbles here. Just beginning. So once I get it to a boil, then I'm done. It's ready to go into the brick oven. Now last year I did a recipe I made some chili, and I did it in the fireplace over the open fire. So I wanted to show a video this year of making soup right inside the brick oven. You could do it either way. Just make sure that you cover it. It will cook a lot faster, and it will also keep the ashes out of the food. Cover it up, and then I'm ready to put it into the brick oven. I'm going to put this inside. It's heavy. Just put it in there, and we're going to set our timer for 50 minutes. Let's check the stew. It should be done. Don't want to hold on to this too long. It gets pretty hot, but that's why you have the big welding gloves. All right, let's open it up. It looks really good. Set that down. Stir it up. See how it thickened? You have that tomato base, and it just kind of thickens up with that flour that you put in there as it cooks. Let's check a potato and see if it cuts through real easy. Oh yeah, that's what we want. Let's try a piece of meat. It just slices right in half. We'll try a carrot first and see. It just bite right through it. And we'll try a little piece of potato. Done perfectly. And let's try one more little piece of meat. Just bite right through it. This is perfect. It's ready to eat. If you enjoy our videos and like the brick oven lifestyle, please feel free to subscribe so we can send you new videos and updates.